This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. A man in his early 20s has died after being hit by a car before dawn this morning. Tasmania Police says the man was left on the side of the road for around 2 hours before a passerby raised the alarm.
This stretch of Port Sorell Road in the state's northwest was in darkness when the 21-year-old man was struck. Police say a couple was driving at 4 a.m. when they accidentally ran into the man.
All our evidence at the moment is that they actually did stop at the time of the incident, and there's some suggestion that they thought they may have hit an animal, and they did stop and have a look.
The couple came forward this morning after hearing police were at the scene. Tragically, it wasn't until around 2 hours later when the deceased was found by another driver going down the road. Authorities issuing this message.
Always walk facing the traffic, where indications are that it was dark at this stage, it was before daylight, and the person was walking with the flow of traffic, which adds to the risks.
It's understood the man was walking to his home in East Devonport after seeing a friend in Latrobe.
All indications are at this stage that it is a tragic accident.
No charges have been laid at this time and the family of the deceased has been notified. The incident brings the road toll to 2 compared with 0 this time last year. Anyone who saw a black Isuzu D-Max dual cab early this morning is asked to contact police. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
A man remains in intensive care after being found on the side of the road at Waverley overnight. Police believe the 48-year-old Prospect man is the victim of a bashing so severe he'll need facial reconstruction surgery. Our reporter Rita Risk has the details.
This is the intersection where a badly injured man was found just metres away from a primary school. 2 passers-by phoned police just after midnight. Officers say he was unable to speak but was able to communicate in other ways.
I will just say that the injuries that he's suffering from are horrific. There's nothing short of any other word to describe it. So at this stage it's being treated as an investigation for an extremely serious assault, potentially grievous bodily harm.
The 48-year-old man suffered 2 broken eye sockets, a broken rib, nose and jaw. Tonight he remains in a serious condition in the intensive care unit at the Launceston General Hospital. Today police recovered his yellow ute from a lake just down the road from where he was found. They're calling for anyone who saw the ute last night to come forward.
There would have to be people in the community that know the perpetrators in relation to this. So I implore you to come forward and help us. We really need community help on this one. It's, might I say, a highly unusual investigation.
At this stage, authorities don't know whether a weapon was used or how many offenders took part. He was found not wearing shoes and had no wallet or phone on him at the time. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
The former chair of Tasmania's Liquor and Gaming Commission has slammed the Liberals' pokies policy. The now retired public servant says venues owning and operating gaming machines is the worst possible outcome and will be a regulatory nightmare. But hospitality leaders say Labor's alternative would ruin the industry.
The Treasurer taking his message to Launceston's Plough In, selling new details of the party's policy which would end Federal Group's pokies monopoly, allowing venues to own and operate the machines.
Our policy ensures that not only will the jobs be protected across pubs and clubs, but the pubs and clubs will have the opportunity to invest more, and importantly, that will create even more jobs.
The Dixon Hotel Group runs multiple venues across the state, employing around 600 people. Its head says 120 of those jobs would be at risk under Labor's policy to withdraw poker machines from pubs and clubs.
The Labor policy would decimate this industry. It's not actually a policy. We regard it as a death warrant written by dreamers who don't understand business or the industry.
In the pokey wars, Labor rolling out its own weapon today, the former chair of the Tasmanian Liquor and Gaming Commission. He says the Liberals' proposed model would stretch regulators and see ugly competition between venues.
As pubs and clubs find themselves on hard times, they compete with each other. The other venues have to deal with things like free drinks offers, free taxis, minibuses back to nursing homes.
In a submission to a parliamentary inquiry, the Gaming Commission raised concerns about smaller venues, saying they may struggle with licence fees and compliance costs.
We believe that there could be much more difficult for smaller pubs and clubs in terms of this new regulatory environment going forward.
With the issue set to dominate the election, the Greens are calling for early disclosure of political donations.
Are they receiving money from the federal group, the Farrell family, the Tasmanian Hospitality Association? Because it seems obvious that they are. Their pokies policy is exactly what the pokies barons want.
Recent donations won't be made public until after the election. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
TT Line has picked a German shipyard to build replacement Bass Strait ferries. It's signed a letter of intent with FSG for 2 new vessels, which would be expected to enter service in 2021. TT Line says the final designs are still to be worked through.
We've narrowed a number of shipbuilders down to one, and now the detailed negotiations on contract takes place now.
The shipyard also built the Sea Road Mersey 2, which operates freight services between Devonport and Melbourne. The Tasmania Fire Service is preparing for a pickup in bushfire activity, bolstering its resources with an extra 7 firefighting aircraft. The fleet is crucial in the initial attack of a blaze, allowing crews to collect information and fight fires from the air.
Flying low, these firefighting aircraft can waterbomb areas with up to 3 tonnes of water.
They also do observation. On occasions we can use them to insert fire crews into remote locations.
The Tasmanian Fire Service bolstering its resources with now 7 of these aircraft from interstate, here in time for the predicted second peak of the bushfire season. 5 helicopters and 2 air tractors, such as this one, to primarily be used in urban interface areas.
They're very effective on the hot days. Some aircraft lose their lift capability on very extreme hot days, whereas the 214 is made for that type of thing.
The fleet to be the first point of call in attacking a blaze before crews move in to fight from the ground.
We use aircraft to hold the fires while we can get the troops in place to contain the fires and extinguish them.
The fleet from McDermott Aviation, funded as part of an almost $15 million joint federal and state government program.
We're obviously here a couple of years ago with the big fires at Strathgordon, but we've been involved in a lot of big fires in New South Wales.
We've already had an opportunity to use these aircraft this fire season. Last Saturday we had days of total fire ban in the north and the south, and we pre-positioned these aircraft at the ready to respond to fires.
The TFS reminding people to have a reliable bushfire plan regardless of where you live.
We have had fires like in 67 came within 1 kilometre of the GPO in Hobart. We are in Tasmania, one of the worst bushfire prone areas on the planet, and we need to have a fire plan if you live in this state.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
An international expedition is setting off from Tasmania tomorrow to break new scientific ground. One project will see crews deploying oceanic robots to depths of 5,000 metres, collecting new information on southern ocean temperatures and salinity.
CSIRO and Bureau of Meteorology crews preparing for a 6-week expedition to the Southern Ocean. The Investigator, a hub for 40 scientists and equipment from around the world.
The work that we'll be doing is part of large international programs that extend around Antarctica. And we'll be studying the oceans from the surface of the ocean down to the deep sea.
Scientists collaborating with organisations from the United States and Australia on ocean and atmospheric conditions.
Turns out the Southern Ocean does us a great favour by soaking up about 1/3 of the carbon dioxide we put into the atmosphere and a lot of the extra heat. And so the Southern Ocean is important because it's the pathway by which the ocean stores heat and carbon, and that slows down climate change.
One of the major projects on board will be using these Argo floats, or ocean robots, breaking new research ground.
This is really the first time we have a tool that can provide continuous measurements of the deep part of the ocean.
11 of these floats will be deployed off waters near Antarctica. Previously, they could reach depths as far as 2,000 metres, but these new instruments will go as far as 5,000, collecting information on ocean temperatures and salinity.
These floats that remain in the water-making measurements for up to 5 or 6 years, every month, year-round, provide us with an opportunity for really for the first time to measure the evolution of the deep ocean and see how it's changing.
Another group of scientists is exploring interactions between clouds and aerosols and its impact on global climate modelling and predictions.
Most of the climate models in the world have that problem. That's why we get this international collaboration, because everybody's interested in that.
The investigator leaves Hobart tomorrow. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
The 100th running of the Devonport Cup is being labelled a resounding success. A record crowd celebrating the milestone with top quality racing and entertainment. Our reporter Tom Johnson joins us now live from the Cup. Good evening, Tom. How has the day gone down?
Well, Joe, we've had a terrific turnout here today at the Devonport Cup. A record 6,000 people have come through the gates today. And as you're about to see, we've been treated to a fantastic day both on and off the track. Let's take a look now.
The centenary of the Devonport Cup delivered another day of trackside thrills. While some were clearly horsing around, others soaked up the sun.
$130, so I'm just, blown away.
The atmosphere, obviously the friends, the horses, putting on a little bit of a bet.
It's a great day for Devonport too, like it just brings so many people in and together in the community. It's just so much fun.
It was game day for those in fashions on the field. Some outfits have been months in the making. The top honour went to 20-year-old Grace Moles from Hobart.
I wanted to go for more a contemporary sort of look, but still with the racewear. I wanted to go for what's in this year, which I found jumpsuits are really in this year.
Those trying for trifectas kept bookies busy. Some punters were happy to admit to going with their heart rather than their head.
It's like choose by name, who's got a cool name.
Police kept an eye on the day. The consensus is racegoers have been well behaved, while organisers have seen bumper bookings for marquees and general admission.
Well, it's grown from just having people on the old grandstand and a few on the front and back lawns to having 140 marquees on site.
Setting the pace for bigger and better years to come. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed weaker due to falls in all sectors, most notably by industrials, miners and telcos. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 39.1 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.2 US cents and 65.52 euro cents.
American Alison Risk has been given a free ride to the Hobart International quarter-finals after opponent Kirsten Flipkins was forced to retire from the tournament with injury, while Australia's last hope, Jamie Fawless, was no match for former champion Heather Watson, going down in straight sets on centre court today, before Aryna Sabalenka provided the upset of the day, knocking out #1 seed Zhang Shui. Keen to become the first player to clinch 2 Hobart International titles, the 2015 champion established the early dominance, breaking the young Aussie straight up. Watson taking the first 4 games in a row before Fawless clawed one back. But as the match went deeper, the Brits' experience showed through, with Watson closing out the first set 6-2. The wildcard came out strong in the second before a breaker serve shifted the momentum back in Watson's favour. From there, the former top 50 ranked player was never in doubt, taking the set 6-2 to set up a quarter-final showdown with Croatian Donna Vekic tomorrow morning.
I'm having a great time. I'm obviously playing really, really well as I did today. Jamie's a great player and I know it'd be tough today, and she swings very free and she's young and she's got a great career ahead of her.
Looking to upset #1 seed Zhang Shui, Belarus's Aryna Sabalenka came out strong as the pair battled tooth and nail in the first set. All square at 6 games apiece, things were forced to a tie-break and it was the underdog who held her nerve. Sabalenka had things more her way in the second, serving out the set and the match and advancing through to the quarters, where she'll face 5th seed Liza Sarenko.
Actually, I'm very happy, and it's always special, something special to beat first seeded. You know, you feel more comfortable on your game.
Brilliant Jet has upstage favourite Gigi's Golden Girl, with the 5-year-old gelding breaking through in the home stretch to claim today's Devonport Cup.
Left to go, and with a brilliant turn of foot, Brilliant Jet races away to win the cup. Brilliant Jet from our Shanachie second, Gigi's Golden Girl third.
It paid $8.90 for the win and $2.90 for the place, while our Shanachie and Gigi's Golden Girl paid $2.30 and $2.40 for the place. The Quinella paying $39.40, with the trifecta paying out at $796. The Hobart Chargers are set to welcome a former player back into the fray for the 2018 Siebel season, with dynamic forward Zach White signing on as the club's latest recruit. White played briefly for the side in 2014 before being axed after just a few games. The American then rejoined the Chargers in 2016 and went on to have an impressive season.
Thunder were keen to sign him as well. We've sort of snuck in just before them, and I just feel like it's a 2-year deal, so we really want Zach to move down here in 2019 and sort of become part of the group for years to come.
The high-flying import is currently playing for Penguin in the NWBU. And 2 more Tasmanians will be riding in next week's Santos Tour Down Under, with Hobart's Nathan Earl and Scott Bowden named in the Uni SA Australia team. Earl helped the national wildcard squad to victory in the teams category in last year's event, while Bowden is a Rio Olympian. The pair joined fellow Tasmanians Richie Port and Will Clark on the list of competitors, with their tour getting underway next Tuesday. Meantime, Amy Cure, Macy Stewart and Georgia Baker will all be in action tomorrow when the women's tour begins in the hills of Adelaide.
Good evening. A cloudy but fine day around the state. Hobart reached a top of 21 degrees today. Launceston was 25 and it was 22 in both Burnie and Devonport. We saw mostly average temperatures around the state, with 27 the state's high at Scotts Peak. Friendly Beaches and Strawn were 24. It was 22 at Wynyard and Grove, 20 at Lowhead and Maria Island, 21 at St Helens and 19 at Lyawini. Looking at the satellite images, here we can see a cold front approaching Tasmania from the west, with an area of low stratiform cloud off the west coast. And over the mainland, a low pressure system causing some thunderstorms for the Kimberley. Zooming in now, most of the state was covered by scattered low cloud, with some high cloud pushing across from the northwest. Tomorrow, a cold front approaches Tasmania from the west, extending up into the Bight, and there are some surface troughs in central and western Australia, with that tropical low persisting over the Kimberley. Northeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots, increasing in the southeast and northwest, swells to 3 metres in the west and south. There is a strong wind warning between Sandy Cape and Stanley, and from Tasman Island to Southeast Cape, including Storm, Frederick Henry and Norfolk Bays and the Channel. A mostly sunny day for Hobart tomorrow, 28 degrees the top, Cygnet sunny, 28, 29 for New Norfolk. Partly cloudy in the north, Launceston 26, Devonport 23 and early fog for Campbelltown 28. Burnie partly cloudy, 22 the top, Strawn sunny and 27, Smithton 23. Showers for St Helens and Fingal, both 24, Swansea cloudy 25. UV extreme. Looking ahead to the end of the week, Friday morning showers in the north and west, increasing to rain and extending statewide through the afternoon with a chance of a thunderstorm in the west. We're expecting showers statewide on Saturday, but Sunday is looking fine, apart from a few early showers in the west and northeast. And here's a quick look around the country tomorrow. Brisbane partly cloudy with a top of 31, Sydney 26 and cloudy, and a mostly sunny day for Melbourne 35. And right now in Hobart, it is 19 degrees, mostly clear. Launceston 22 and clear. Devonport 20 degrees and clear. And it looks like those lovely conditions from today are going to continue through the night, Jo.
Beautiful evening for a barbecue. Thanks so much for that, Britt. Well, that's all from the team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you throughout the evening. Bye-bye.